You were probably taught there are 4 elements: fire, water, air, earth. Maybe it sounded poetic, maybe childish, but at least simple. What most people never hear is that in the old Hermetic view, there was a 5th element. Not just one more thing, but the element that organizes all the others. The invisible pattern holder. And the strangest part is this: you don't meet it in theory first. You meet it inside your own body. Let's start where you actually live: sensation. Think about the last time you were really present. Not scrolling, not half distracted, but suddenly awake in your own life. Maybe it was a walk at night, when the air felt sharper and the world went quiet. Maybe it was a crisis, where everything unimportant fell away in 1 second. Maybe it was a moment of intimacy where the room, the sounds, the feeling in your chest were almost painfully vivid. In those moments, you're not thinking fire, water, air, earth. You're feeling a different quality, a kind of underlying clarity that holds everything together. The old alchemists gave that quality a name: the 5th element, the subtle field that doesn't show up on a blood test, but shapes how you breathe, think, and move. Modern science can measure the chemistry of your body, the voltage of your heart, the firing of your neurons, but it still struggles to describe why the same body can feel dead inside one day and vividly alive the next, without anything obvious changing on the outside. Hermetic philosophy would say the 4 elements are the ingredients. The 5th is the pattern that arranges them. Look at your own system. Your body has fire, metabolism, heat, anger, passion. It has water, blood, tears, moods, tides of emotion. It has air, breath, thoughts, words, the exchange between you and others. It has earth, bones, habits, schedules, the way your life is structured. But none of that explains why some days your fire burns clean and other days it only smokes. Why sometimes your emotions move like a river and sometimes they stagnate. Why your thoughts can be sharp and spacious one week, then cramped and obsessive the next. The 5th element is the missing piece. You can think of it as a subtle architecture around and through you, a field that behaves less like a cloud and more like a living geometry. Old esoteric diagrams tried to draw it with stars, spirals, and a strange shape, a 12-faced figure, like a hidden crystal made of pentagons. They weren't just playing with sacred geometry. They were pointing at a simple intuition. Life doesn't organize itself only by pushing matter around. It organizes itself through patterns. And those patterns show up most clearly in 3 places you can feel right now: your heart, your breathing, and the way you place your attention. Let's start with the heart. If you put your hand on your chest for a moment, you feel the beat. But around that beat, there is something you don't feel with your fingers, and you still live in all the time. A subtle field. When you walk into a room and instantly sense tension, you don't analyze molecules in the air. You read a pattern. Your chest tightens or opens before your mind finds a story. From a Hermetic lens, that read doesn't happen in the brain alone. It happens in the 5th element field around the heart, a kind of invisible torus where information flows in and out, organizing the other elements. Next, the breath. On paper, breathing is simple. Oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. But you know from experience that how you breathe changes everything. Shallow, high breathing makes your thoughts race and your emotions jittery. Slow, grounded breathing can calm you down, even in a storm. Same lungs, same air, but a different pattern of movement. In Hermetic terms, breath is one of the main levers your 5th element uses to rebalance fire, water, air, and earth inside you. It is the bridge between an invisible state and a very physical change in your nervous system. And then there is attention. Where you point your attention is like where you shine a small inner sun. Most people think of attention as passive. I just notice what's there. But look more closely. If you keep placing your attention on what scares you, you'll feel your inner fire burn as anxiety. If you keep placing it on something you quietly resent, your water element, your emotional body, stagnates and turns sour. If, on the other hand, you place your attention in the center of your chest, breathe into it, and stay with the sensations that arise without running away, something else appears, a faint but real sense that there is more space inside you than you thought. Hermetic mentalism says, all is mind, not in the sense that nothing is real, but in the sense that what you call reality is filtered, organized, and colored by the way this inner field is structured. Cause and Effect says, every inner movement has a consequence. Every thought, every chosen focus slightly reshapes the pattern in that fifth element. Gender, in the Hermetic sense, isn't about male and female humans. It's about two complementary movements in the field, the active impulse that projects and the receptive capacity that holds inside each of us. When your fifth element is overpolarized in the active side, you're always pushing, forcing change, forcing insight, forcing progress. When it's stuck in the receptive side, you wait forever for a sign, for someone else to move first, for the universe to decide. Balance between these poles is not a moral issue, it's geometry. You can feel the imbalance when your inner life starts to look four elements fighting instead of one field coordinating them. Fire without the fifth element's pattern becomes rage or burnout. Water without it becomes emotional flooding or depression. Air without it becomes mental noise and overthinking. Earth without it becomes rigid habits and a life that feels dead. But when the fifth element is engaged, the same forces reorganize. Fire becomes clear initiative. Water becomes compassion and honest feeling. Air becomes insight and precise speech. Earth becomes grounded structure that actually supports your soul instead of trapping it. This is where the old alchemists started to talk about treasures hidden in the body. They weren't only pointing at physical organs or minerals. They were pointing at specific zones where the fifth element can be felt more directly. The heart, the space between the eyebrows, the base of the spine, the palms of the hands, even certain stones and metals that seem to tune the field when worn or held. You don't have to believe any of this blindly. You can test it in very simple ways. Let's try a short experiment together. If you can, place one hand gently on your chest and the other on your lower belly. For a few breaths, just notice how the air moves. No technique, just witness. Now slowly, begin to make your inhale and exhale about the same length. Count to 4 in, count to 4 out. Then, without changing the rhythm, let your attention rest in the space between your hands, as if the fifth element were gathered there. Not in your thoughts, not in the outside world, but in the quiet volume of your own body. As you stay with it, you may feel heat, tingling, or simply a clearer sense of being here. Your mind might protest, try to label it, or get bored. That's normal. What you're doing, in Hermetic terms, is inviting the fifth element to organize the other 4, to calm the fire of scattered impulses, to steady the water of your moods, to clear the air of your thoughts, and to soften the earth of your tensions. Nothing dramatic has to happen. The point is this: you can interact with the field directly through breath, posture, and attention. This is where the title of this video stops being abstract. The fifth element inside you is not a fantasy floating above your head. It is the way your inner pattern responds when you align heart, breath, and awareness on purpose. Modern science can't yet measure that alignment as a single thing. It measures its shadows: heart rate variability, changes in brain waves, shifts in hormone levels. Hermetic practice starts from the other side, from the lived experience that when you tend to this subtle pattern, your whole system changes its behavior. Your reactions soften, your choices become cleaner. You stop living as if you were only your fire, only your water, only your thoughts, or only your habits. Instead, you begin to sense yourself as a field that can be tuned. Not perfectly, not once and for all, but gradually, the way a musician tunes an instrument before every piece. So when you hear people say, "It's just the way I am," or "That's just my personality." Remember this. From a Hermetic point of view, what they are really describing is a habitual arrangement of the four elements around a fifth they have never been taught to notice. You don't have to abandon science to explore this. You simply admit that inner life has a structure that doesn't fit neatly into current measuring tools. The question becomes very practical. How do you live when you know there is a fifth element inside you, organizing your fire, water, air, and earth every single day? Do you leave it on autopilot, shaped by stress, screens, and old wounds? Or do you begin, quietly, to reclaim it through where you place your attention, how you breathe, and what you allow your heart to amplify? Because in the Hermetic view, that fifth element is not somewhere far away in the cosmos. It's already here, encoded in your inner geometry, waiting for you to notice that you have always been more than the four elements you were taught in school.